Hello and welcome back to the Transform Awards Europe, where I'm delighted to be joined now by Sue Ying Fullock, who is the Creative Director at Landor, and Sean Dyker, who is the Group Brand Expression and Design Lead at Aviva. Now Sean, coming over to you first of all, why did you guys need Landor's help? What was the brief that you gave to them?
So Aviva's been around for a long time, around 327 years, and we've always been there through the highs and lows of our customers' lives. But internally, where we are is that there's a genuine commitment for doing the right thing and being there for the customers, but that wasn't necessarily translating externally, where from research we were seen as being corporate and bland. So we needed to get Landor to help us to inject some vibrancy in it so that our outfits matched on the inside and on the outside.
And Sue, tell me a little bit about the research phase that you guys undertook and sort of how that developed into a strategy.
So it was an amazing brief coming over, and the first thing we actually did was do a lot of interviews with the team inside Aviva across all the departments, and really were able to pick up on what Sean's saying there. Like, for a company that appeared quite cold and stayed, there was a real warmth, a want to help, there was a real humanity on the inside. And when we then started comparing that to the competitor set and how they set themselves apart, we realised there was a real difference in an opinion and approach to what Aviva did. And so instead of scaremongering and that fearful approach to getting insurance and sorting out your finance, there was a real positivity of like, sort this out and you can live your life. And so actually that became the shift. It became the drive between making the most of every day. Today, tomorrow, the highs and lows, but in a positive way. If you sort yourself out, there's a freedom into how you can live yourself. Even if there's bad news, there's a freedom in how you can then manage and take your life in a positive space.
Fantastic. So how did you make that expression ownable and stand out amongst competitors?
So we really loved the whole process working with Aviva. I actually took the team trampolining to begin with. Took them all out trampolining because with this insight that we had gathered, this difference of approach to quite a difficult subject, I really wanted to free the team up. So we actually took them all trampolining for that sense of Aviva as this safety net, so you can go off and express yourself, live your life, enjoy yourself. So took a whole adult team to a 12-year-old trampoline park, embarrassed the hell out of them. But then we sat down and actually really brainstormed how that had felt, the freedom and suddenly getting over their embarrassments and actually finding an opportunity. And then what was really lovely was working with Sean, because actually our first share with of creative was actually just all of our post-it notes, our written and drawn and sketched ideas, and there was a real excitement from Sean on picking up on those spaces where we were finding something new. And really what we found is that sense of living life to its absolute max, its fullest, taking on this sense of exuberance. So there were assets that Aviva had been using that had started to gain recognition but didn't really mean anything, which was things like their AV pattern and their colour yellow. And what we did was take this idea, this theory, and imbue it into these assets and recreate them. So suddenly, instead of flat, geometrical AV patterns, we had swollen, over the top, overflowing, rounded patterns that overlapped, that filled the space. Everything was became as much as you could fit in, because that's what Aviva lets you do. It lets you live your life to that maximum. And so that suddenly became very different from quite a cold corporate set, everything feeling vibrant in colour, giving a real purpose to the yellow, this really vibrant, exuberant photography that could sit next to each other. And that was whether we were doing B2B or B2C as well, because work is like eight hours of our day, right? You still want to feel enjoyment and feel like you're making a difference. So we were able to create that cut through where others were being far colder and calmer. We were filling it with excitement and energy.
Fantastic. Well, it was a wonderful project, but was there anything that surprised you along the way?
The bravery.
The bravery from you?
The bravery from you guys.
I think for us, it basically just rolled out itself. So we were really lucky in the fact that working with Landor, we've got such a good collaborative relationship. And along the way, sharing with senior stakeholders and within the business, people just embraced it. And I think that was the surprise, is that there were no barriers, and that it really just, people picked it up and ran with it. And for something that we thought would take, because it wasn't a big bang launch where we had a big budget to be able to do an overnight switch on and off with the new brand, it was very much a staggered rollout. And we thought it would take last year and this year to do that, but people really embraced it and were jumping at the opportunity to start applying it to their communications and campaigns. and now it's across digital and our flexibility between all of our different business areas. So yeah, it's been really great.
I have to second that. I mean, usually when you're doing something that is so at a right angle to what the sector or category is doing, it's not that people don't want it, but it can take a much bigger sell, and that's like slow release as people tentatively try it. And honestly, I think once we got to visual states, you guys just warmed to it, and every time we took it up to that next level, everybody was like, yes, that's it. And so there's been no holding back, and so super proud of Aviva for that. It's a hard thing to want to be different and then stand by it. So
absolutely. And Sean, what excites you most about the new brand expression?
I think what excites me is that obviously we have evolved from that corporate brand and corporate look and feel that we had before, and now we're kind of being the brand that we knew that we always were on the inside and on the outside, but we're not going to keep it just kind of at that point. It is going to evolve over time. We don't want to let it kind of sit still. So constantly already talking about what's next to keep the integrity of the evolved expression, but make sure that we are keeping it modern and vibrant so that we can be that kind of empathetic brand that we've always been.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Sue and Sean, for your time. Be interesting to see how Landor and Aviva get on tonight at the Transform Awards Europe.